Your Steve Jones Show podcast will start shortly. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Brewers Outlet, your beverage supermarket on Reagan Street in Sunbury. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere. Thanksgiving's coming up. Make sure you're fully stocked. In fact, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a nice day. Today's beautiful. I mean, you can't get any nice in November. Do you get nicer than this? This is gorgeous out today. Tomorrow's going to be pretty good, too. Right, but then Sunday, it's going to get a little dicey, so you want to stock up now, before Thanksgiving, you want to stock up, start thinking about Brewers Outlet gift cards with the holidays coming up. Yeah. And they also have wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day. And the pickle bar, led by the barrels and the dills, indeed second to none. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. And not only that, they also have 6 great flavors of slushies. Matt's going to have one before the Danville Wyomissing game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, on the car ride down.
There you go. All right. And we're in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Lincoln, Kia, Hyundai. Great pre-owned inventory. Indeed. And they have great sales staff, great service department. Great time to buy. Holidays. All at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia. Routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf and online at sunburymotors.com. All right. Our play-by-play call of the day.
And this will be the final play. Bryn going to go to the end zone. It is caught! Touchdown, Tulsa! J.C. Santana. Pratt going to throw. Pratt pressured. It is picked off by Zayvon Collins. And the player we debuted at the beginning of the game is going to end it for Tulsa in double overtime.
Yeah, we always talk about that in overtime. If the game's tied, of course, that you can return it for a touchdown and win it. Now, obviously, you're the team in front. You're going to catch it and go straight down. But to the turf, but yeah, it's that was a dramatic win for Tulsa last night because they really were just like jogging in mud. They were down 14-0 at the end of the third quarter to Tulane. Big win. They're now 5-1. So we played that commercial on ink. What kind of printer do you have, Matt? Do you have a home printer?
I do. It's HP.
All right, so you're having no issues, right? Getting ink.
Not getting ink, no.
I have a Canon. All right, and I've used this for a few years, and I like it. It does a good job. And, I just print charts, charts or stats or things like that. Nothing exotic, for goodness sakes. All right, and for 2 months there's been an ink shortage. Because I take like the 243, 44, 45, 46 cartridges. Right? Pretty standard in these things. So I went over to one of the box stores, and they were able to order it, and I got a new set of ink on Monday. Great. But just for the heck of it, I checked to see if anything else came in. Nowhere. And I know all you people are worried about toilet paper, but hey, come on, I need ink. I'm printing charts. What's going on? Wow. All right. I'm sure some of you have experienced the same thing. All right, Ross Dellenger with SI.com joins us. Ross, welcome. Great to have you with us on the program.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So let's get your take on Penn State, which obviously has been. Look, I sit there and I broadcast the games. I've been surprised, obviously. What has been your thought looking from the outside in?
Surprised as well. Yeah, I don't know if anybody expected. The Big Ten's is upside down this year, kind of like everything else in the world. It seems like because of COVID-19, but the Big Ten is especially feels upside down and turned about. You have Indiana at 4-0 and Penn State at 0-4. I've been fairly shocked. I know that. Obviously, the Nittany Lions had departures from last year and some not ideal opt-outs and stuff like that, but still really, really surprised. And obviously, they've played a couple close games and maybe could or should have won them. Obviously, the big one was Indiana, but still really surprised that they sit here without a win.
Well, you brought up Indiana, so let's bring them up. They're going to face Ohio State this week in Columbus. They were a decided underdog in the game. But what kind of story has Indiana been for college football this season?
Well, I think anytime you have a program that has not won or doesn't have the winning history and tradition of others and is often an underdog, I mean, we all like to root for the underdog, and I think this is so anytime you have an underdog playing really well, this is a great example of that. It's exciting. It's exciting for football, and it provides just some new, different angles for us writers, and that's what Indiana has done. I'm not sure how long it will last as we sit here. I'm looking out my hotel room window at the Horseshoe, where the game tomorrow will be played, and so I'm in Columbus, and that I don't really expect the Indiana winning to continue, but then again, who knows? It's 2020, and I'm not making too many predictions this year.
No, nobody's making any predictions this year as you're sitting in a hotel room that's probably right around the Lane Avenue area. All right, so Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been an interesting story. You put a lot into, where they are right now and what Brian Kelly has built there. What impresses you about Notre Dame and how they go about their business with this team?
Well, Notre Dame seems to have proven, right now in college football, we certainly have a trend that continues to rise, and that is explosive offenses and, scoring 40, 50 points to win.
Yes.
Notre Dame doesn't have to do that. I know because of overtime they did that against Clemson, but they seem to play a little different style, right? They play really well defense. They have a three-headed monster rushing attack, and they have a solid quarterback, but certainly not one that's putting up prolific numbers. So again, just like Indiana, when you have something that's a little different, it's kind of fun. In Notre Dame is different. They're not the Ohio State. They're not the Alabama. They're not the Florida that are putting up 40, 50, 60 points a game and winning offensively. Notre Dame won a game this year. I think it was like 12-9 or 12-10, whatever that game was against Louisville. So it is fun to have a team like that. I don't know how long that they can continue to win like that. I don't know if that's something that can work for them in the playoff. It would be fun if it could. I have a feeling it's not going to be. So that's kind of the real unanswered question, I guess. But you asked about Brian Kelly. I spent some time with him just a couple of days ago while in South Bend on this trip.
That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Right. Wrote about him a little bit. And he needs 6 wins to be the all-time leader in victories at Notre Dame, which is really incredible. But he's still lacking that one thing, and that's the national championship. And there's a history at Notre Dame. 5 coaches have won a national title. They all have the bronze statues outside of Notre Dame Stadium. I took the loop around there earlier this week, and in order for Brian Kelly to get one of those statues, probably he's got to win a title. And though he says that he came to Notre Dame just to make them relevant again, which clearly they are, deep down he wants to win that national championship.
In fact, my broadcast partner in Penn State football, Jack Ham, he and I were talking about Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago. They remind me a lot of the baseline tennis player that just keeps hitting it back, and then after the rally goes for a while, you try to do something and you make a mistake. That's how the two of us talked about Notre Dame football, which is for them it's a smart way to play.
Yeah, that's actually a great analogy. They wait for you to kind of make a mistake. They're a team that doesn't make a lot of them, and they secure the ball fairly well, and kind of a sure-handed team that just doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and they wait for you to make them. And many teams have made them this year, even the number one team in the nation against them. So it's that is a great way to put it. When they come against a team, though, that doesn't make the mistakes, is when they'll probably lose a game. And I don't know, maybe that happens this year, maybe it doesn't. They have certainly a road that is not necessarily easy to go. They'll play at North Carolina, which I plan to be at that game and cover it next weekend in Chapel Hill, and that's going to be an interesting one because North Carolina has been a roller coaster this year, but I think they can certainly hang with Notre Dame and certainly make it a tight game. And, of course, they'll have to go through Clemson again potentially in the ACC championship game.
Ross, who's the most impressive team you've seen in person? It may have been just a one-day snapshot, but who's the most impressive you've seen in person when you look at them and go, whoa?
Well, I covered Georgia, Alabama, so
there you go.
Alabama would be far and away the best team I've seen in person, and they just – I think – what you mentioned there about how Notre Dame plays and how they don't make mistakes, they wait for you to make mistakes. Well, in a way, Alabama has that characteristic and always does with Nick Saban teams because they don't make a lot of mistakes. However, Alabama has that explosive offense to go with that mentality. And what we saw in the Georgia-Alabama game is that Alabama waited for Georgia to make a mistake. It was going back. The game was going back and forth. And Georgia made a mistake, and that's all it takes against Alabama. They turned a 4-point deficit into a 10-point lead within like 70 seconds. And they're just so explosive, and they're sound enough on defense. They're by far the best team I've seen.
All right, so that brings me to the next part because that was Stetson Bennett at quarterback, who began the year technically as the fourth-string quarterback at Georgia, and Mac Jones. So Mac Jones is somebody that we saw step in last year when Tua went down. What have you seen in the progression of Mac Jones that allows them to be really solid at that spot where now people are considering him a Heisman candidate?
Yeah, when I covered that Georgia-Alabama game, I was asking some people there on that Bama staff, like, wow, did you after the game we were talking, did you expect this? I mean, this kid is not just been like steady, consistent Alabama quarterback, the typical ones that took snaps under Saban before Tua came into the picture. He's been just as prolific as Tua, and they said, look, he's kind of bided his time, and the big thing with Mac is he knows the offense because he's been there for so long, and he sees the field really, really well. Sees the field just as well as any other quarterback I think that's come through there. So it's we talk all the time about a quarterback's skills and talent and gifts and stuff like that, but what sometimes is overlooked a little bit is the quarterback mentally seeing the field, knowing what to expect. And, man, it looks like Mac Jones does that just really, really well.
See, that's what I refer to as the chess pieces. Like Brady sees all 21 chess pieces. All right, so let's go with the highest level of all. In college, I mean, to me, that's a big thing. If a player, like, say, Mac Jones, knows where 16 of the chess pieces are, that's pretty darn good. that's the kind of vision I think you're hoping for out of your college quarterback.
Absolutely, yeah. And that Bama staff member I was talking to said there's something else that, and you hear it, it's kind of a cliche. The quarterback has to know what everybody's doing offensively and everybody's job and on every single play. And that's not an easy thing to do. And this person mentioned that Mac Jones knows every single play and what every single person has to do on that play and where they'll be and when they'll be there. So it makes a lot of sense. How
interested are you tomorrow in watching the progression of Justin Fields at quarterback? I've already had the in-person experience. It was pretty good. I mean, he is pretty good. How interested are you to see Justin Fields now compared to the Justin Fields you saw last year?
Yeah, I've never seen him in person. In fact, I'm thinking about it now. I don't know that I've ever seen an Ohio State football team in person, which is crazy, but it's just kind of the way it's worked out. So this will be my first glimpse of them and of him. And I mean, watching him on TV, it's incredible. There's kind of an argument going on around Ohio State. I know fans that is he the best quarterback that's ever come through Columbus, which is crazy to think about. But man, if you watch him, his accuracy. We all know about his running threat and his talents when it comes to his athleticism, but his accuracy has been just unbelievable. His timing has just been incredible, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, no, I can tell you, seeing Troy Smith in person, he's better than he is.
Yeah.
I can tell you he's better than Rex Kern. All right, so with all due respect, Rex, I've got a great story about that, but I'll leave it for later in the show. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, in Clemson. I mean, they're all sitting there. But let's go just outside for a moment. Obviously, you're always going to get the argument from somebody about a Group of 5 team and the college football playoff. And, in fact, I was talking to Greg McElroy about this on Wednesday. And, because they talk about it in his show all the time. What are the odds, in your opinion, Ross, of any Group of 5 team breaking through as long as there's just 4 teams there?
Very, very low. That's I know a lot of college football fans of Power 5 teams don't want to hear that. They don't want a Group of 5 team involved. You hear it a lot, but every team playing FBS football should have a chance at playing for a national championship. Think about it. I mean, the Boise States and the Cincinnatis, and they begin a season knowing pretty much they are not, no matter what happens and what they do, they're not going to be able to compete for a championship. And that stinks. And it needs to change. And we need to expand the playoff, and we need to be able to allow one of those teams in, even if it's like an 8 seed or a 6 seed. They need a chance. No team should start the season knowing that we're not, no matter what happens, we're not going to be able to compete for a championship. So I think it's very low, and it's probably a little higher than normal this year, just given the COVID issues and all the underdog wins we're seeing, just the lack of undefeated, Power 5 programs so far. So it's a little higher than normal, but I still think it's like, less than 10%. When in a normal year, it might be less than 3%. It's unfortunate. I know that BYU and Cincinnati, the two probably best candidates, now, because of a rearrangement in some schedules in the AAC, have an open date now, December 5th, so they conceivably could play. I don't know how that would help each one of them, though. They really need to play a Power 5 team, and
absolutely,
I think it's possible to play maybe a Pac-12 team, and that would be great to see, but obviously we heard no specific news on that, but that would be cool if that does happen. And what happens then? If a BYU over Cincinnati beats an Oregon or a USC or something, you've got to think that 10% that I just mentioned would go up to maybe 40 or 50%.
And the Pac-12, by the way, opened that door. So just so people know, I mean, that door is open. If something occurs and there's an open date for somebody, they could do it. Ross, an absolute pleasure. I mean, I'm not sure. Have you been to Beaver Stadium?
I have. I was
Okay.
at the whiteout last year.
Okay, great.
Yep, I sure was.
So the reason I say that is I'm sorry you won't get to see the full experience at Ohio State tomorrow. At least you experienced everything here at Penn State with what it's like with the whiteout, the emotion, everything that goes with it, that kind of thunderous feeling. And at some point when you go back to Ohio State, I hope you get the full experience.
Well, I hope to, too. I'll miss the dotting of the I, which I was looking forward to.
Yeah. Hey, Ross, absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Ross Dellenger, SI.com. I got to slip in the Rex Kern story. Okay. Very quickly. Rex Kern is in a college all-star game. I want to say it's the Hula Bowl. And the other two quarterbacks are Jim Plunkett and Joe Theismann. So John Ralston, I believe, was the coach. And Joe was the assistant coach, offensive coordinator. So Ralston says, we got Plunkett, we got Theismann. Like, yeah, okay. It may have been Plunkett and Archie Manning or Plunkett and Theismann, one or two. But Plunkett was one of them, and Plunkett had an incredible arm. So he said, Joe, you need to go talk to Rex Kern. And so Joe goes and talks to Rex Kern. He says, we got Jim Plunkett and we got Archie Manning. I guess it was Archie Manning. So we had Jim Plunkett and Archie Manning. Have you thought about defensive back? Which, by the way, Rex Kern in the NFL ended up playing defensive back for the Colts. But that was one of those, Rex. And Rex looked at him and was like, yeah, I know I've been watching practice. I didn't think I was going to play much. We'll come back with more in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by our good friends at Brewers Outlet.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket, imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere, wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day. And the pickle bar, led by the barrels and the dills, indeed second to none. Thanksgiving coming up. Stock up at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Also the home to 6 great flavors of slushies. And believe me, on a day like today, slushie would be great. And we're in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors, Kia routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. Very quickly, I think you've seen the story that Pitt and Virginia Tech will have to wear masks tomorrow at the game, that they're playing at Heinz Field. Evidently, though, Penn State and Iowa evidently don't have to because of the daily antigen testing, because of the protocols that they have in place. They say the governor's new orders include limited exceptions for competition to be played without face coverings in the context of rigorous and stringent university and Big Ten testing, health, and safety protocols. All other game day personnel have been required to wear masks and will continue to enforce that guideline at our events. You would guess that the Steelers and the Eagles would fall into that category, too, because of the testing regimen in the NFL.
And actually, that is a definite now. Just got tweeted out a little while ago. The Steelers are good to go.
Yeah. The Eagles are playing at Cleveland, right?
Yeah, so they're not home until next Monday night.
Right, okay. So, I mean, that's the story there. I do not know what the testing regimen is in the ACC. I don't know if it's daily. I don't know if it's 3 times a week. I don't know. So, but obviously it evidently cannot be to the level of the Big Ten because of what Penn State said about University and Big Ten testing and health and safety protocols. So that's the story there. I don't know. We're all trying to get used to whatever is new and in play here because it feels like it's a week by week thing. So you just have to adapt and adjust. Like I said, you're glad they're playing, but you have to, that's what we have to do: adapt, adjust, do the best we can. All right, with that, the ever adaptable, always adjusting, the King.
What up? Oh, well, you got virus there or something?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, good here. I was telling Matt before that my wife's granddaughter tested positive.
Okay.
She's a UConn student. The UConn campus is closed. The whole campus is on quarantine. So they went from nothing to big-time trouble, like overnight. So
it's interesting here on campus here. There was an initial when the students first got back to be expected, but then, crazy as it seems, it calmed down here.
Yeah,
which is a great thing. It's a great thing. It calmed down here. Now we're heading in. Today's the day. And I went over to Dunkin' this morning to get a cup of coffee after I was done working on the yard. And, man, the line was so long because this is the last day the students are here. We're doing everything virtual the rest of the way because next week's fall break. Thanksgiving is fall break, so they're off the entire week anyway. So the idea was, okay, send them home, do the last couple of weeks virtual, finals virtual, and then come back on January the 19th or something like that to start the, quote, spring semester. Then they'll make a decision as to whether they're coming back at that point or not. We'll have to see.
Yeah, all heck's going to break loose on.
So, well, we'll see. I mean, in other words, they may say virtual. They've already eliminated spring break. Mm-hmm. So that's been eliminated. Now, to get to this point, I was thinking about this today. I guess the last 3-day weekend I had was Memorial Day, which is the only 3-day weekend I've had this year, ironically, because 4th of July was on a weekend. What about Labor Day? See, we had to teach on Labor Day because they were trying to close the gap on teaching at the university, so we had to teach Labor Day.
Wow. How many classes do you have to teach?
No, I just have to teach one, but I still had to go in, do it. Whatever, it's fine.
Oh, yeah, so you got to go to work. Yeah.
Well, what I did was I set up the next project for them. That's what we did. By the way, I've got a week from Saturday, or a week from Monday. Since we're going Zoom, I want to have guest speakers on Zoom. So Mark Zumoff has committed, the voice of the Sixers.
Oh, sweet.
He is committed to talking to my class on that Monday.
Awesome. I'm so happy that you guys were able to hook up with that.
Oh, no, he was great. I worked it out. So, yeah, half hour. He'll be great with them. And here's the key. They'll get so much out of it talking with him. He is an expert. Because he does not just announcing for a living, but teaching announcing for a living. So they'll get a lot out of it.
And I'm a beneficiary of that.
Yeah, I know. So that will be great. Good for them. Then I'm going to Dick Girardi and Jack Ham on the next one. Have them talk to them. Also take advantage of some things. Take advantage of friends.
Paying them a lot, huh?
Yeah, they get the usual rate.
They get what I get.
Exact same rate. You'd be amazed.
Wow.
You'd be amazed.
So
You'd be amazed how similar the guest rate happens to be.
Yeah, so they're driving an 18-year-old truck too, huh?
Absolutely. Well, might not be. Although, you know what, Girardi, now he has a new vehicle now, but I think he had over $300,000 on his last vehicle.
Hey, why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way I look at it. You see what a new truck costs? They're like $50,000. It's a freaking pickup truck. You know, you want to throw stuff in it. You don't dare throw anything in it.
Very, very gentle. I think I'll lay it in here. It's a $50,000 truck.
My brother-in-law's got the Super Duty Ford 350 with an 8-foot bed, and it's got the big toe thing in the middle of the bed. He bought it used for $58,000, brand new. It's $93,000. I'm like, oh my God! He said, "What a buy I got!" I'm looking at him like he's an idiot. What are you going to haul with that? You got a crappy little trailer and a crappy little Kubota. That's it.
Guess what?
I can haul it with my Chevy Silverado. You know?
You are not throwing things into the back of that one. Today, toss it in. No, gently lay it in there.
Well, you can't. It's too high.
Gentle.
You can't even get in it. He's got stairs to get in it. Like, well, dude, you know, wants and needs, you know.
It takes longer for us to load the truck because we need to be gentle. All right. We'll come back. We'll come back with our picks of the week in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by Brewers Outlet. When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you. The other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years. Pick'em time, brother.
Yeah, we're going to switch it up and go with college first this time. So here we go. Oh, by the way, I have to give last week's pick. So, you know, King, your strategy almost worked, I have to admit, because Steve and I didn't do very good with our NFL picks last week. You went 4-4 total.
I hung in there, but I failed in the end.
Yeah. You were 4-4 total.
Yeah.
Steve and I were 5-3.
Yeah.
It's a good try, though.
4-4. Yeah.
So there we go. So now I'm the lead dog at 46-27. Steve is at 43-30, and you, King, are 37-36.
Well, above 500, baby.
That's right. All right.
That's
so here
where you want to be.
All right. App State at number 15, Coastal Carolina. King.
Coastal Carolina's really good, but they have not beaten App State in years. If I'm going to go for an upset, I'm going to go for App State.
All right, Steve.
Coastal Carolina is better than Kansas. They are not better than Appalachian State. App State.
Ooh. Well, I'm going on an island. I'm impressed with Coastal Carolina, so I think they get it done.
That's a good pick.
So I go Coastal. All right. Big 12, Battle of Oklahoma. Number 14, OSU against number 18, OU. Steve.
Mike Gundy is 2-12 against Oklahoma? Make it 2-13.
I agree. I got OU too. King?
Me too. Yeah.
Clean sweep. All right, Big 10 action now. Number 10, Wisconsin. At number 19, Northwestern. King.
Wisconsin.
All right, Steve.
Let me preface by saying I love the way Northwestern plays defense. Patty Fisher, Blake Gallagher, that is a really good defensive football team. But I just think Wisconsin has just too much, especially with Mertz at quarterback. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I agree. Close defensive battle. Wisconsin's got a little more offensively for somebody to make a play late, so I'll take the Badgers in a close one.
I love the way Pat Fitzgerald's team plays defense.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Home field advantage.
Yeah.
Quote.
Yeah. I've been into some of those home field advantages. You don't really feel it right now.
I love the boo button.
Well, that's exclusive to Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah, that's right. And it will be for the rest of the year, probably. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. The problem is you're the one pushing the button.
All right, before we get to the NFL, one more. The biggest game of the week.
Ohio State, move on. Okay, I don't even know what game it is. I'm guessing it's them. I'm telling you they're going to win this team beat this by 3 touchdowns.
That would be against Indiana. King, you agree, or are you going Indiana here?
Well, that's a spread, 21 points.
They'll beat that.
Yeah, Indiana's really good.
That's fine.
I don't know
they're not
how
going to
good
win this
Ohio
game.
State is. I don't. So
I do.
I'm going to have
really
to.
Good.
I can't. Ohio State's going to win the game. I got to take Ohio State. So.
All right. I think it's a closer game maybe than what people think, but I still think in the end Ohio State wins by 2 scores.
5 minutes to go in the first half. Text me.
All right. I'll do that.
I won't read it, but that's all right.
What time is this game even? This is at the night game.
Text me. I'll read it.
Well, yeah, because I mean the problem is I don't look at my phone during the game. So
is this in the afternoon? I thought this was a night game.
Well, you may as well. And you all got to win this week. It's getting tough.
Yeah, I know. I got. Believe me, I'm sitting here in the thick of it. I'm thinking I feel the same way. Ohio State, Indiana's what time? I don't know. Is it 7:30? Is it the primetime game?
I thought it was. I'll have to look that up.
I mean, there's nothing like night football in Columbus before Thanksgiving.
Because if this is in the afternoon, then I'm not going to be able to text you either because I will be a little occupied myself.
I'll be raking leaves.
I already did that today. I took advantage today.
I've been doing it for friggin' 8 weeks. I live in a forest.
Yeah.
All right, NFL now. Tennessee at Baltimore. Rematch from last year. Ravens got revenge on their minds. Do they get it, Steve?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Sure, why not? The game between Indiana and Ohio State's on Fox at noon tomorrow.
Okay, I won't see it then. I can't text you.
That's big noon. That'll be big noon kickoff.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma's the night game.
Okay, there we go. All right, King, who do you got here? Tennessee and Baltimore.
I got Baltimore. Tennessee's kind of fallen off the map here in the last 4 weeks. They lost 3 out of 4. Baltimore's not the team we thought they were, but they're still better than Tennessee.
And you know what? Because of that with Lamar Jackson, I'm sticking with Tennessee. Defense makes a play on him and shuts him down a little bit, and they do not get revenge. So I'm sticking with the Titans.
You're just so anti-running quarterback just because you don't have one.
No, I don't want one. Is the thing.
Just kidding.
All right,
that's why you don't want. That's why you don't want Taysom Hill starting.
That's right.
Who do you got, Steve?
I picked Baltimore.
All right, next game. Cincinnati at the Washington football team. King.
Big game. I got Joe Burrow.
Ooh, all
I
right,
think
I like
Washington's in a lot of trouble, and I wish Alex Smith would retire. I don't want to see him break that leg again.
This is what I hope for with Alex Smith. I hope he signs to be somebody's backup quarterback. He'd be a great backup quarterback for some team.
It's a wonderful story, but God, you don't even want to watch him play.
Yeah, I get nervous too.
Yeah. I'm picking Cincinnati as well. Joe Burrow factor. Even though I know Mixon's not playing.
I'm sticking with Washington here.
Playing pretty well.
They are.
Cincinnati's close. You know?
Yeah, no, Cincinnati is close. I think they're playing very well. I think they've hung in there, and he gives them a fighting chance. Burrow does in every game. Now, not having Mixon Sunday will hurt, but I think they'll win.
I think because of that and the way Washington's pass rush has been, and I like the way Alex Smith has played somewhat, so I'm going to stick with Washington here.
Not even the boss is picking them.
Good pick.
Not even the boss is going to pick them. He's down on them.
I don't know. I just saw what the Steelers did to them last week, and Washington's got a good front, so I think that's going to be a big difference in the game. So I'm going to stick with Washington. But, hey, I hope you're both wrong. I'd like to see them lose again.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Detroit at Carolina. Steve.
Can you pick a tie? I'm gonna stick with old friend Matt Rule. If you're gonna grow up in State College, you might as well win games like this.
I agree. I got Carolina outright. They are playing pretty good football right now. King.
If they had the running back, which they don't.
McCaffrey, yeah.
The running game's pretty pitiful without him. That's not his name. What's his name?
Oh, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, yeah. I'm torn. I need to catch up. So I took Carolina, but I'm going to change it to Detroit.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford.
It's a toss-up. So.
Yep.
It is.
If McCaffrey was playing, no doubt. Yeah.
And the last one, Monday Night Football this week. Another pretty good one. Rams at Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. King.
Tampa Bay.
Steve.
Let's see. Tom Brady, Jared Goff, Tom Brady. Let's see. Wow, so many different scenarios running through my head. Tampa Bay.
Goff's playing well.
I got Tampa as well.
No, Goff is actually playing well. He actually is.
Rams defense is very good too. This I think it's going to be a low-scoring, close game too. I think.
Yeah.
The Tampa wins.
So, who'd you take, Matt?
I got Tampa.
Took the Bucks. Actually, that's a good Monday night game. I mean,
yeah.
The Monday night guys have to be ecstatic about getting a game like that.
They're doing fairly decent this year. Monday
with
and
games,
Thursday.
For the most part, Thursday. Last night's game was a really good one. Arizona-Seattle. It was a good game too.
Okay, can I make one change?
Sure.
I'm doing my math. I'm going Oak State.
Ooh, okay.
It's weird. And Oklahoma's favored to win, but Oklahoma State's ranked 14th ahead of them. So who ranks them? Yeah, head-to-head, they rank Oklahoma State ahead. So that's my take a chance. Matt, if you're right and I'm wrong on all these, I'm going to be so far behind, it's not even going to be funny. But it makes it fun.
Do you want to get to the point where you're so far behind you think you're first? I don't know if that's good or not.
Well, you got to be proud of it, you know?
It's okay. It's still be in first place in the NFC least right now, so at least go with that.
Oh, yeah, you got more wins than everybody in the NFC East combined, Kev.
Hey, the Giants are playing for first place next week.
Got that right. Here come the Giants.